Hey, and welcome to today's 3x3, where we're going to cover 3 tips in 3 minutes. Today's 3x3 is going to be focused on setting communication and public speaking goals going into the new year. So, Peter, I'll flip it to you first. What is the first tip? 1 minute. Go ahead.
The first tip is to set aspirational goals. These are goals that are so big and juicy. They turn you on, they motivate you. And these are things that you don't want to share with others. You want to keep it private because sometimes it could be embarrassing. Like, I want to be able to influence thousands of people. I want to be able to influence millions of people, right? Or I want to be charismatic. Some people are ashamed of saying something like that. So I'm not. However, if you are, just don't share it with others. Make sure you keep it to yourself and think as big as possible. This should give you the why of why you're pursuing the rest of the goals, which we're going to cover later.
Awesome. Thanks, Peter. All right, Rahul, I'll flip it to you now. What is tip number 2?
Tip number 2 is to set outcome goals. So you set your aspirations. You want to be influential. Let's say you want to influence everybody on your team at work. Outcome goals are clear goals that are measurable and they're an end result. So it could be I make 10,000 in sales next week, or it could be I get asked by my manager to present my project at the end of June, or I get this leadership position at the beginning of next year. Those are clear, measurable outcomes of things that you've done. Now, we're not getting into how you're going to accomplish those things yet. We're going to talk about that in a second. However, this is a clear measurement that you can use that's external, that you have some influence over. However, of course, you don't have control. So that's something to keep in mind. You can't totally control these things. There are other factors at play, but you can do things to influence it. So set those clear outcome goals so it motivates you and you have some way to measure it.
Awesome. Thanks, Rahul. And now moving into the final tip. We'll go 30 seconds for each of you. What is tip number 3? Peter, go ahead and kick it off.
Is set process-oriented goals. That's the third tip. These are my favorite type of goals because it requires you to be in a growth mindset, which means continuous improvement. For example, for public speaking, once you have your aspirational goals, like the dream, once you have the outcome goals, which are like milestones, then you have goals that support both of these, and these are process goals. And an example of that would be, I want to speak 3 times a week. I want to go to a public speaking class once a week. I want to attend a boot camp once a year. Those are the process goals.
Thanks, Peter.
Awesome. So yeah, same thing. They're going to be adding to whatever you've already set as your outcome. So if I want to be a leader in my company at the end of this year, I know I need to be doing something consistently. So this is where you just call them habits. They're totally in your control, and you'll be able to go.
We may have lost Rahul there.
I'll continue. They're habits, and you just set them and you keep doing them over and over, and they keep
Awesome. Finish that thought process, Peter.
So they're continuous goals, and you keep reaping the rewards over and over and over. And it's almost like thinking of them like investments, where you keep depositing money and it keeps growing because of interest, and it keeps rolling on itself. These are process-oriented goals.
Awesome.
Sorry, Rahul, you got cut off, and I jumped in to complete the thought.
Well, sorry about that, guys. We had some technical difficulty, but those are the 3 tips in 3 minutes for top communication goals. It's 1, aspirational goals, 2, outcome goals, and 3, process goals. Well, thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.